Mabuhay! My name is Fred Doc Dossel with Mabuhay Credit Union, and it is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to Mabuhay Community Corner. Here with me today is Mr. John Hernandez, the President and CEO of Mabuhay Credit Union, a division of Nikkei Credit Union. Thank you so much for being here with us today, John. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you, Fred.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime. So we're excited to do this, and as we talked about, we want to introduce Mabuhay Credit Union to our viewers out there. So do you mind sharing with us a little bit about the history, the background of Mabuhay?
So Mabuhay was started out with Nikkei Credit Union, looking into expanding to the Asian community. When Nikkei was established back in the 50s, their focus was for the Gardena Valley community in the South Bay. As they move forward, they knew that consequently for growth purposes, they wanted to find a complement for Nikkei membership. And so when they studied the other Asian community, the top 5 Asian community from a population standpoint was, including the Japanese, are South Koreans, Indians, Chinese, and the Filipinos. And when we look at that more closely, we understood that there were already financial institutions serving clearly the Japanese, as well as the South Koreans and the Chinese. The only other 2 Asian communities that were underserved from a banking perspective were the Indians and the Filipino community. So the board of directors then made a conscious decision to focus on one. And when we looked at it even further, we discovered that from a population standpoint and even from a geographical standpoint, the Filipino community was much closer to the Gardena area, which is currently where Nikkei's at. So from that perspective, that's how we started. And it was very obvious to us when we looked at the Filipino community that they were clearly underserved, because the only other financial service provided to the Filipino community were the remittance services. No credit unions, no banks.
There's definitely a long and proud history behind the company, right? Now, if you could share with us, you mentioned credit unions and banks. Mm-hmm. For the uninitiated out there, do you mind sharing with us the difference, the similarities obviously, and the difference between a typical bank and a credit union like Mabuhay Credit Union?
While we both provide financial services, the biggest difference is that most credit unions are built for a specific group of people. Hence the reason why this is Mabuhay Credit Union, because our focus is to serve the Filipino-American community. And therefore, when we come up with our initiatives and when we consequently have profitability, we try to use all those resources and give it back to that community, right? As well as, again, when we come up with our initiatives or any products and services that we're looking into in the future, there's always that consideration to what does that community need? But I can't necessarily say that a regular bank would always look into that. So for us, we have the remittance services because we know that that's a must to have. So that's a product that we have. But even with that, we take a look at it more closely to see what partnership we would build to make sure that when we implement and make that available, it really is the best option for our membership.
So that's exciting how Mabuhay really offers a value to the community.
Right.
Now, as a full-service financial institution specifically serving the Filipino-American community here in the South Bay, Los Angeles area, does Mabuhay Credit Union have any direct competitors out there?
No, I'm happy to say no, not at this time. And that might be it eventually, but not at this time.
So we're blazing that trail. That's exciting. All right. Now, as a full-service financial institution, can you share with our viewers what types of products and services that we offer the community?
We have the typical savings, checking, IRA, certificate accounts. We have accounts for youth. As far as loans are concerned, we offer consumer loans such as unsecured loan or signature loan or bill consolidation, Visa credit card, vehicle loans. We do motorcycles and RVs, and we also offer real estate loans. So we do a lot of home equity line of credits, and fixed trustee loans. So, and our home equity line of credits actually, are either fixed 5 or 10 years and calculated over 30-year terms. So it's a very, very competitive product. In fact, we are having a promo right now where you
Perfect.
could possibly not have to pay any closing costs at all. And this credit union, specifically Mabuhay and Nikkei Credit Union, we're known not to charge the points, unlike some other processors do. But every so often we do, but for the most part we don't.
Nice, awesome. Well, that's really exciting because when somebody comes in for assistance with their finances,
Right.
it's not just that one thing that they were initially looking for. There's a potential that we can help them in other areas in their financial life.
Right. I mean, the members, when they're requesting for a certain thing, they don't realize that we have all these other products and services sometimes. So we take advantage of making sure that, we really study their profile and we try to identify what is the best solution. And clearly, ultimately, it's the member's choice, right? But we want to make sure they're aware of all the other options that they have, which in a lot of cases, the members really appreciate that we share that with them because, again, they didn't know.
That's absolutely true, it's exciting that we do have the capability of helping the community. But as you mentioned earlier, a credit union is not like a typical bank where anyone off the street can come in and open an account. How does Mabuhay Credit Union work around that and allow eligibility for prospective members to come in?
We partner with several employer groups and associations and Filipino-American community companies that hopefully they belong to some of those organizations or associations. But if not, if they want to be part of the Filipino Chamber group, then they could join the credit union. So it's ultimately, there is a way for any Filipino-American to join us if they wish to.
Nice. And another one too is through family. Right?
Oh, right. I forgot about
Yes.
that. That's right.
Well, we're all about family within our community, right? Everybody's an uncle, a
Everybody,
tito, or
titos
tita.
and titas.
Right,
That's
exactly.
right.
Now, with regards to, these are some challenging times right now, given that, we're in the middle of a global pandemic, right? How do we reassure our members and the general public, as well as our staff, obviously, that we're doing what we can to keep them safe? Like, talk about some of the safety measures that we do here.
Sure. We definitely take that as an important matter for us, the safety of our members. Even not just COVID period, that is an inherent thing that the credit union have. But from a COVID perspective, we have the shields over the counter. All the staff are wearing masks. Limit the number of people that come in at the credit union. And even for a short period of time, we actually had to decrease our opening hours to ensure the staff can work from home partially while the other half are working at the credit union. We sanitize everything. We make sure that we have weekly meetings. And in those weekly meetings, we remind all the staff, because sometimes you just take your guards down when you're not reminded. So to make sure that everyone wears masks, and also that to keep sanitizing every so often.
So safety of our staff and the general public is
Absolutely.
definitely near and dear to us.
Absolutely.
Both their financial safety and with regards to COVID. So that's perfect. That's definitely reassuring to hear. Now, with regards to our members that might have hit an extra rough patch during the pandemic, you mind sharing with us what we've been able to extend to help them through these challenging times?
Well, prior to even the pandemic, the credit union itself, because with all the, unfortunately in California, a lot of the fires that have taken place, we've actually have always provided or made available an emergency loan program. And that's not just directly for our members, but if their family were affected, we wanted to make sure that if they wanted to help out, because that's what Filipino-American is all about, helping families, we made that available. So emergency loan. But since the pandemic, we've also understood that a lot of folks, unfortunately, may have either lost their job, furloughed, or even just reduced hours, or may have actually caught the COVID and needed to be quarantined, and as a result, unable to work. So in those cases, and if they have a loan with the credit union, we are extending loan payment extensions. And we're reviewing this on a case-by-case basis. But we have done that, and I think at this point we're almost at $6 million as far as what we've extended in loan payment extensions.
That's significant. I
Right.
mean, anything that we can do to help our members,
Right.
I'm sure they're more than grateful for that. Now, beyond our members, what else are we doing to help the community at large? As far as like the frontliners
Right.
and college students and things of that nature. You want to talk about that?
One of the things that we do is we take our resources, and not only we apply it to the financial services that we provide, we want to make sure that we take some of those and what can we do for the community. It's very obvious that that the frontliners, if it wasn't for them, we would be in a much worse position. So we wanted to recognize that, and it happens so that a lot of Filipino-Americans actually work in the healthcare industry. So we wanted to make sure that we acknowledge that. And so we've actually partnered up with a local restaurant, Filipino restaurant, and we partner with them, and we actually have provided a lot of lunches to the local hospitals within the South Bay community. As well as we recognize that not only the healthcare workers, as well as the other frontline workers, such as the police officers and firefighters. So we've also delivered food to some of those firehouses and police stations. In addition to that, the one initiative that we started even last year prior to COVID is that we became aware that unfortunately there are a lot of students that are actually homeless, specifically college students. We realize and discover that. And so as a result, we partner up with our members, and we've asked our members to basically, hey, help us help them. And there's a lot of people out there that don't fit on their don't fit on some of the clothes that they have anymore, especially work attire, and maybe they have extra food in their pantry, or maybe some toiletries. And those are the needs for these college students that are homeless. So we basically take those and request from our members to bring those to us. And then we have partnered up with the local colleges for us to deliver it to, or for them to come by and pick it up. And so far, I think we've delivered it to at least 3 or 4 colleges over the course of time.
It's really heartwarming to think that as a credit union, we're not just doing this for ourselves. Ultimately, We're doing it for a community. You mentioned the, honoring and feeding the frontliners. What better way to honor them than with Filipino food, right? And then, you talk about the students that are looking to make a better future for themselves, helping them get there. So that's really, really, again, heartwarming to think. Right. Now, I know for a fact that you personally, you're an art aficionado, and right behind us here is this beautiful artwork. Right. You want to talk about our, Philippine Masters collection here?
Well, when we were building this site, it was important for me to honor our heritage and the Filipino community. And I thought that what a good way to be able to, do that, and at the same time, hopefully educate the Filipino-American community, especially the younger generation that actually have never been to the Philippines. So as most are aware, Philippines consists of the big 3 islands, the Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So when we were designing the space, we wanted to make sure that there was at least a minimum of 3 offices for that. And luckily enough, we were able to achieve that. So one of the room has a representation of the Luzon, the middle room has a representation of Visayas, and then the front room actually has the representation of Mindanao. And then right behind us here is the Republica of Filipinas. That's right.
Yes.
And again, I actually collect Filipino art, and I'm familiar of who the Filipino artists are. So it was easy for me to contact Eliseo Silva because of the fact that I know all the art pieces that he's done in the community, and not just in California. Right. I'm talking nationwide. So we're very pleased that he honored us with his presence, and more importantly, left us with these nice art pieces.
Thank you. Definitely shouts out to Eliseo Silva. If that name sounds familiar, he is one of his most renowned pieces. Well, it's not really a piece. It's 140 by 20 feet, but it's the Gintong Kasaysayan, Gintong Kayamanan mural in historic Filipino town. I always tell people that the Philippine Masters Collection, it gives our institution an element of not just art, obviously, but an element of culture, history, and education. So, at the end of the day, we are a community organization that just so happens to deal with finance.
Again,
right?
Mabuhay Credit Union is there for the Filipino-American community. Our focus is financial services, but we want to do what we can to try to provide and serve and promote advancement to the Mabuhay community.
Fantastic. Now, anything else you want to share as far as what we're doing for the community out there? Anything to honor, our Mabuhay Heroes?
Well, currently we actually are honoring the frontline workers. We came up with a new initiative where we wanted to acknowledge and honor our fellow Filipino-Americans. So every month starting October, we're honoring a Filipino-American, and we need your help. We need our members and even non-members that could be watching this. If you know of someone that you wanted to nominate, again, this will change on a monthly basis, but for the month of October, we're looking for nominations to honor a frontline workers, and that'll change every month, and we have it laid out for the next 12 months. So please go to our website, mabuhaycu.org, for details as well.
Yes, as well as all of our social media accounts.
That's right. In addition to honoring the Mabuhay Heroes, we're featured in the Spotlight TV. So in case you missed it, you can see it on YouTube, and in fact, it's also probably in our social media posts.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for enlightening our community, John.
Okay.
It's always a thrill to hear about how Mabuhay Credit Union serves and supports our Mabuhay community. So thank you so much again for sharing that with our viewers. Now, if you haven't done so yet, please do ensure, like John said, we are all over social media. Definitely make it a point to like and subscribe and click on that bell icon to get notifications about future postings. In closing, allow me to share with you today's penny for your thoughts. Ang hindi marunong lumingon sa kanyang pinanggalingan ay hindi makakarating sa kanyang paroroonan. That's a saying by the Philippine national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, and that means he who does not know where he comes from will not get to his destination. Salamat and mabuhay.